In Pennsylvania, the night manager of a fast food restaurant was found brutally murdered, the apparent victim of a robbery gone bad. For 15 years, police were unable to identify a suspect. Later, an elite group of forensic experts agreed to take on the case. In another incident, a man disappeared from his home in Texas. All indications pointed to foul play, but without a body, police were powerless to prove murder. When the trail of clues stops, homicide investigators are often left with few options. However, an elite group of forensic experts known as the Vidocq Society can heat up a cold case and apply their expertise to deliver collective justice. On February 4, 1984, in the Philadelphia suburb of Falls Township, Pennsylvania, the manager of a fast food restaurant arrived for the early morning shift. He was alarmed to find the front door unlocked. Recently, there had been a string of robberies in the area. Nothing appeared to be missing, but in the kitchen he discovered the night manager, Terry Brooks, lying on the floor. She had been brutally murdered. Within minutes, officers and forensic technicians from the Falls Township Police Department arrived at the scene. They found the 25-year-old victim lying face up on the kitchen floor. A large knife was protruding from her throat, and a plastic trash bag had been placed over her face. Judging by the coat she was wearing, it appeared Terry Brooks was preparing to leave for the evening. In the restaurant office, police found that the cash drawers and money bags had been emptied. The victim's shoes were found lying by the desk. Although several restaurants had been robbed in the area over the preceding months, this was the first incident that ended in murder. Technicians searched extensively for clues to the killer's identity but found no signs of forced entry. Based on the evidence, police theorized that after Terry Brooks exited the restaurant, she was ambushed by the robber and forced back inside. The attack had been extremely violent. Terry Brooks had been beaten, strangled, and then stabbed in the throat. She had been dead for several hours. Hair and skin scrapings were found beneath her fingernails, indicating she had put up a fierce struggle. However, in the days before DNA testing, examiners could only determine that the samples did not belong to the victim. Investigators interviewed Terry's parents, who described her as a cheerful, hard-working young woman who had put herself through college and dreamed of owning her own restaurant. She had recently quit her job as a waitress to accept a better opportunity as a restaurant manager. She had also recently become engaged to a former co-worker. The engagement was sudden, and her parents did not know her fiancé well. They could think of no one who would want to harm their daughter. Terry's fiancé, Asha-year-old Scott Keith, said he had no idea who could have committed such a brutal act. On the night of the murder, he claimed he was home asleep. The next morning, on his way to work, he drove by Terry's house to ensure she had arrived home safely. When he noticed her car was not there, he became concerned and alerted her parents. When they contacted the restaurant, they learned she had been murdered. Police investigated the possibility of a robbery or a disgruntled employee. Employee files were reviewed, but nothing indicated an internal conflict. The case appeared to be a random attack. one of the most difficult types for police to solve. A single latent fingerprint was discovered on the trash bag covering the victim's face. It was traced to one of Terry's co-workers. After questioning, the employee explained the fingerprint had been left while changing trash liners earlier that evening. She also recalled an incident days earlier involving two intoxicated men who caused a disturbance and threatened Terry before leaving. The men were never identified. With no further leads, the investigation went cold and remained unsolved for 14 years. In 1998, Falls Township Police re-examined unsolved homicide cases. Detective Sergeant William Cloud reviewed the Terry Brooks case and believed it had a high probability of being solved due to well-preserved physical evidence. Along with Detective Nelson Whitney and Deputy District Attorney Laurie Markle. Investigators identified weaknesses in the original investigation and began focusing on Terry's personal life. A former manager noticed inconsistencies at the crime scene, particularly the condition of Terry's desk, which suggested she had been doing routine paperwork when she was attacked. This contradicted the theory that she had been forced back inside and raised the possibility that she knew her killer and had willingly let him in. Investigators sought assistance from the Vidocq Society, a non-profit organization of elite forensic experts based in Philadelphia. After reviewing the case, profiling experts concluded the murder was driven by rage rather than robbery and that the crime scene had been staged. The offender was believed to be someone close to Terry with limited education, unstable relationships, and difficulty with women. Re-interviewing family and friends revealed concerns about Scott Keith's behavior. Friends described him as possessive, jealous, and financially troubled. Terry had reportedly discussed ending the engagement shortly before her death. Scott's background closely matched the profile developed by the Vidocq Society, including his employment at a pizza restaurant. With a suspect identified, investigators turned to physical evidence collected during the autopsy. Advances in DNA technology allowed forensic scientists to analyze skin found under Terry's fingernails. The samples confirmed the presence of another individual's DNA, providing the evidence needed to move the case forward.